I kid you not, this is like game changer when it comes to finding wholesale vendors right from your home. Resale certificate, no resale certificate, there's something out there for you. What's up, icons? It's the iconic fashion figure back with a new video. And this video is going to be a follow-up to my last week's video, so if you haven't seen that yet, I'm going to link that in the description box. You'll want to go check that out. Of course, you can watch it after watching this one, or you can go check that out and come back. Your choice. But basically, last week's video was a tour of the Los Angeles wholesale district. A lot of you guys have been curious of what that looked like and how you find vendors there, and if it was really true that all the wholesale vendors are over there. So many questions about the LA fashion district. So I literally took you guys on a tour with me, showed you exactly what streets to shop at, and even showed you some of the vendors over there. So I want to do a follow-up with that because I know there were more questions after that video. So this video is going to get those questions answered.
She's an icon, she's a legend, and she is the moment. Now come on now.
Now, to answer the main question that I have been getting, yes, you'll want to bring your resale certificate with you. If you're unsure of your resale certificate, because I know I still got a few people that said that their state doesn't have a resale certificate, I have done a video in regards to the resale certificate. I went through all 50 states as far as where to get your resale certificate. The websites for all 50 states are in that video. So I'll put that video here. I will put it down in the description box, and I'll also put it in the comment. It'll be labeled resale certificate. You'll want to go see that video. You don't have to watch the whole thing. Just skip ahead. I went through the states in alphabetical order, so skip to your state. Every state except for one has a resale certificate, and I promise you, you'll want to bring that because you will need it if you are shopping in the wholesale district. And I will feel so bad for someone that travels all the way there and then don't get the full experience because you didn't bring a resale certificate with you. So definitely bring it. Apply for it before you go. Make sure you actually have a copy of it, not just an email saying that you apply. Actually have the resale certificate with you. And I'm telling you now, some of those vendors can be extremely rude about the resale certificate. I shared my little story in the last video about an experience I had. Some of them can be rude when you walk in and they'll immediately tell you no, it's only wholesale. Like they don't even give you a chance to show it, as if you didn't see the 10 different signs in their window that said wholesale only. So trust me, save yourself a wasted trip. Save yourself the embarrassment that they cause when they're yelling at you about not having a resale certificate even though you do have one, and just bring a resale certificate with you. Worst case, if you don't have a resale certificate, there is a retail side of the wholesale district that you can shop, and I'm also going to show you some of that too, of the vendors that you guys can shop with that you won't need a resale certificate with. So I'm covering all of you guys. Resale certificate, no resale certificate, there's something out there for you. Another question that I was getting as far as specific categories like finding accessories, finding kids, asking for specific vendors that you guys are looking for. To answer those of you that have asked like how do you find the specific categories, those streets really aren't segmented. For some areas you'll find where there might be a couple accessory vendors in a row over here. You can shop that block, but for the most part it's not segmented by category. They're just kind of scattered. But again, I have something for you guys in this video that will also help you, so that way if you wanted to plan out your trip, only go to the kid vendors or only go to the accessory vendors. You can plan that out ahead of time before you go and know exactly where you're going to find the categories that you need. So I'm going to show that to you guys right now. This is going to help those of you that have a resale certificate, those that don't have a resale certificate, and those that are trying to plan out their trip. And this is basically it. It's just the fashion district website. It's fashiondistrict.org. I've shared this in a video before and I mentioned it in a comment on my last video. The fashion district has a website and it has a directory of all the wholesale vendors on there, and I'm telling you guys, if you are looking for wholesale vendors, this is the way to go. It takes a little time searching through this website just because you can't see pictures pictures until you actually go research the vendor. So I know the first time I shared this, it probably didn't catch on with people because they don't want to have to go research every single vendor, because this can take time to do this. But I'm telling you, it's well worth it in the end once you actually take the time, because you'll find what it is you're looking for. You just have to do a little digging to get it. But trust me, nothing worth having comes easy. So you're gonna have to do a little work, but it'll be worth it. So on this website, once you're on here, you'll go to Wholesale, because there's other stuff on this website too. And once you go to Wholesale, click on Wholesale Directory. And on there, you're gonna have a ton of different vendors on there that you can just scroll through. I'm not about to sit here and scroll through all of them, but you can. Now at the top where it says all categories, you can click that and you can switch it to the category that you're looking for. So if you're looking for kids, there's sections on there for kids. If you're looking for accessories, there's sections on there for accessories. And again, even for kids, when you click on it or when you go to the kids section, there's multiple options for kids, like toys. It's separate from the other stuff. So there's a few different options there. They really break it down for you to be able to find the categories you're looking for. So once you click on a category, I'm just going to select one. Here's all the vendors that are under your category. Now, if you guys notice, there's the little symbol that shows open to the public or industry only. Basically, that means for open to the public, those are the retail wholesale vendors. Basically, those are retailers that are selling at a cheap price. The product is pretty low. Like I mentioned in the last video, you can shop the retail side and there's some vendors over there you'll find that sell stuff at like wholesale price, but it's technically considered retail. And then you have the industry only, that is the wholesale only, and those are the ones that are going to ask you for a resale certificate, so make sure you have it. Like if you notice here, this one vendor that's open to the public, they're on Los Angeles Street, which is on the other side of San Pedro that I told you guys once you get over there, that's the retail side. But they're listed as a wholesale vendor because if you go on their website, you'll see their pricing is pretty low. And then for this other one that's on Crocker that I showed you guys in the Fashion District tour that I did for you guys, that one's on Crocker, that's a wholesale side, and that is industry only. So if you scroll through here and go through open to the public, those of you that don't have a resale certificate, that's where you can shop. For those of you that have a resale certificate, you can shop the open to public category, or you can also shop industry only. And then once you actually click on these vendors on the Fashion District website, some of them have websites, not all of them have a website. You probably have heard it before from myself and other people that are talking about wholesale vendors in the Fashion District. Not all of these vendors have websites. Actually, a lot of them don't, because that is the old school way of doing business. They're used to just selling in person. They don't do online. They don't deal with shipping. They don't have to deal with the packaging and all that stuff. Is all in person. So there is no website. Plus, a lot of them don't want their product online because it's easy for others to mimic it. They like to keep it a secret. So it's not online. They're not online. The only way to see their product is to call them, email them, find a way to contact them, and see if they can send you line sheets. Some won't even do that. They'll tell you have to come in person. But when you click on the vendor, you might get a website. You should definitely get an address, because that's the point of the directory, to let you know where to go in the Fashion District. And then you might get a phone number, you might get an email. You may not get those. Usually there's at least a phone number, but maybe not an email. But click on those, then from there you can research those names to see the type of product, to see if you're interested in that vendor or not, or if there's vendors that you're familiar with. That's how you can get their contact information, at least where they're located, and try to find them. But use this website to your advantage. There's a ton of wholesale vendors on there. You don't have to wait for me to give you a vendor list. Of course, I don't mind doing it, but you don't have to wait on me. It's all online there for you. So search through these categories, that find vendors that work for you. Plan out your trip if you're planning to go there. Make sure you have a resale certificate if you're going to shop the industry only vendors. But that's not it for this video. I have more. So in last week's video, there was just too much to share in one video. Plus it was like everything kept slipping my mind because I'm traveling, doing things that I needed to do personally, doing things I needed to do business wise, on top of helping you guys at the same time. So I didn't get everything in the video because it slipped my mind. But there's a couple other places in downtown LA that you can shop wholesale too. The Fashion District isn't just it. That's just the main place that people go to. Actually, before I even get into these other areas, in the Fashion District, you guys know how I showed you the San Pedro Mart, where once you walk in there, there's a ton of vendors inside that you can't even see from the streets. And then there's a second level to it. There's other buildings in the Fashion District district that are set up the same way. I didn't actually enter those buildings and show you guys, but don't be afraid to enter those. There's a ton more that are like that. Actually, pretty much like on the corners of like all the main intersections, there's one of those buildings. You can enter those and you'll find more vendors inside that you can't see from the street. But outside of the whole fashion district setup, there's other buildings that you can go to that also sell wholesale. So one of them, which is one of my favorites, I used to work out of there, is the CalMart. It's the California Market Center. It's on East 9th Street in Los Angeles, or you can do East 9th and Main. But if you're coming from the fashion district, you'll hit Los Angeles first, and it's on the corner of Los Angeles and 9th. That building isn't one that is just open to the public. I will warn you now, you have to have an appointment to go in there, and you definitely have to have your paperwork straight. You have to have a resale certificate. This is a building that are not going to play about that. They're not going to be friendly about it at all, because this is where the big boys shop. So all the corporate stores go there. Actually, the store Ross, like the discounted store, they have their offices on one of the floors in there. So this is where the corporations typically shop at. These are by appointment only, but there's a ton more wholesale vendors inside of there as well. That's including women's, kids, men's. I think there's accessories in there too. Some of the vendors in there are only open during market week, which market happens like quarterly. So you can plan your trip around when market is happening if you plan to go in the CalMart and shop those vendors too, but you have to have appointments. Don't just walk into these people's showrooms, because they'll look at you like you're crazy. That's not a place like the fashion district where it's retail shopping. This is more a professional setting where like you're sitting at a table, you're meeting with the sales rep, and they're going through showing you their line, what you can buy, what not. Also keep in mind, in the CalMart, again, unlike the fashion district where you can go and just buy your product and most of the time you'll leave with the product when you shop there, the CalMart isn't set up like that. When you go in there, you're most likely buying in advance. So if you go right now, you're probably buying for fall. They're showing later seasons. You might get some like late spring stuff, but this is not a place where you're going to walk in and buy and leave with your product. They're going to ship this product to you. Most of these vendors also may have higher minimums, so it may not be 6 pieces. They may expect you to buy more. Some of them may let you buy a few, but a lot of them will have higher minimums because this is where corporate shops. So for those of you that have scaled your business already, you may have multiple stores, you may have a warehouse where you strictly do online but you buy multiple packs, that will be a place for you. I absolutely love the CalMart and the setup because it's completely different from the whole retail wholesale shopping in the fashion district. If you guys ever just want to see the CalMart, you know you're not ready to actually buy at that level yet, I believe you still can walk through there. You just can't actually walk into these people's showroom, but I believe you can actually visit the building. And then across the street from the CalMart is the New Mart. It's directly opposite side on 9th Street, so still 9th in Los Angeles, but the CalMart is like south on 9th, the New Mart is north on 9th, and they're like facing each other. Inside the New Mart, you have brands like Hudson, UGG is inside of there. I believe UGG has a showroom there. Joe Jeans, oh, Lacoste is in there too. They have a showroom there as well. These are a little more branded showrooms, I should say. Again, these are where the big boys shop, so you might have higher minimums. Again, you definitely need to have your paperwork straight going in there, and you definitely have to have appointment. It's best to go during market weeks to shop these places because more of the showrooms will actually be open inside of there. And then around LA, there's a couple other buildings that are similar to that. Those are the two that I'm truly familiar with. Like there's the LA Mart, LA Apparel Mart, I think is what it's called. It's in that area somewhere too. Then there's another one which for some reason I cannot think of the name right now. I know it's on the other side of the freeway, so like south of the freeway, and I've been there before but I cannot think of it. If I figure out the name, I'll put it in the comments because there's a lot of kids showrooms in there, and I don't think you have to have appointments there. Nope, they might actually be appointment only as well, but it'll be a little easier to get just 6 pieces out of those showrooms than it is other places. But I know that one has a lot of kids in there, and then it's more for like a contemporary type of setup. So kids and contemporary, I believe, are in that building. So if I can figure out the name, I will put it down in the comments, but I know exactly where it is, so I'll at least give the address or something. But that's it for this video. I just wanted to follow up on last week's video to hopefully answer more questions that you guys need and show you that website again, because it is like golden for you guys that own boutiques. You definitely want to use that, especially any of you that are planning a trip to the fashion district, so you can kind of get it planned out for yourself. Thank you guys for watching.